Tashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Māhārāja Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Tashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Māhārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Tashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Māhārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Tashmad Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Māhārāja Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jipal Bhattadash Raghunath Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. नामचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Oh wait, what is it today? Makar Sankranti ki jai. Shri Jagadish Pandit jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Let me just share this link in our group. There. All right. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji and Gargaraji. Dandavat pranams, Ganga Didi. Dandavat pranams. I forgot that you've been watching every day at 3:30 o'clock. Yeah, 3:30 in the morning. My God. And Yashji, Dandavat pranams. Rup Manjari Didi, Dandavat pranams. Well, soon, starting on Monday. What's today? Today's Friday. So yeah, after 3 days, we're gonna change the time and start half an hour later. Haribo, Indira Mataji, Dandavat. Yeah, so beginning Monday, we will start reading. We're gonna resume our Śrīmad Bhagavatam readings, and we will start at 7:30 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. So half an hour later. All right, did I share my screen? Yes. Okay. Oh, and I didn't check my mic. 1 second. Let me just check to make sure. All right. Wait a second. Output's supposed to be this. Input. Haribo. Oops, I probably had it wrong yesterday, didn't I? Anyhow. Dandavat pranams, Madhavi Didi. All right, this is a very special letter. So, during back in the day, during the 90s, and people had the idea that there were differences between my Gurudev and Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj. But it turns out that actually there weren't differences between my Gurudev and Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj, but it was other people envious of my Gurudev, or I don't know what their motives were, but they were saying that, and they were trying to cause some kind of rift. But well, this letter is really, anyways, you'll see. Requesting Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj to give Harinam and Diksha on his behalf, calling for the expulsion of those attempting to instigate a rift between him and Srila Bhaktivedānta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. The purpose of Sri Gauriya Vedanta Samiti is to preach the message of Sri Rupa and Raghunath. So this is written in 1994. Shri Vaishnava Charane Dandavan Nati Purvikeyam. Pujapad Narayan Maharaj, I hope that by Srila Gurupad Padma's causeless mercy, you are well physically and in your bhajan. The last letter I sent in response was in August of 1993, which was before the start of Purushottam Vrat. After that, I received 3 of your kind letters sent on 22/10/93 and 22/10/94 and 29/10/94. There was nothing specific to respond to in them. You went to the Haridwar Mat and caught a chill, which gave you a cold and cough, so you came back. That much I gathered. I received one of the letters you wrote straight from Kamalapati Brahmachari's hands, but I cannot find it even after searching for it a great deal. After that, you wrote Acharya Maharaj on 18/10/94. I went to Mathura Vrindavan in April of 1993, and since then, 1994 has not yet finished. In the meantime, I've been so busy, I can't. Please consider the issue of my physical and mental condition, which is sometimes healthy and sometimes unhealthy. Even though I do go out for special purposes, I do not go out wandering for fun, and I do not give classes or readings anywhere. As I will not be able to go to Mathura Vrindavan every year, I requested you to give the sevaks there Shrinam, Diksha, etc. If you accept my request, there would not be any sort of inconvenience in managing the mat, and I too would be relieved. I am especially saddened to know that because I did not give a response to your letter, it has become the subject of discussion everywhere. For this, please be gracious and forgive me. This is in quotes. Many brahmacharis who have gone around saying, Narayan Maharaj has no affection for Gurudev. Therefore, it is not proper to stay in this mat. Or, what to do in this sort of situation? This has become a matter of concern. Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj continues. After Sri Dham Navadvip Parikrama each year, on your instruction, some sevaks always go to Mathura Vrindavan. 1 or 2 persons perhaps go of their own accord for convenience and to take advantage. I do not think I send any of them. My meek request to you is this. You are indeed the executive. You are indeed the executive of the management committee and subcommittee of the mats. Therefore, in regard to those sevaks to see and create a difference between you and me, identify them, and, immediately after reading this letter, expel them from the mat and the mission. Let the point be made that such persons have no place in the Samiti or in any of its branches. It's heavy, huh? Anybody who's trying to create a difference between Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj and my Gurudev, he said to identify them and right after reading this, expel them from the mat and the mission. And they have no place in the Samiti or any of its branch mats. In the course of management, there can be some good, some bad, some errors, so it is never justified for the sevaks to interfere in the manager's responsibilities. I do not teach any of my sevaks to disobey Guru and Vaishnavas or violate it. The sort of instruction given is for them to heed the laws of the mat and mission in all respects. The mats and temples, etc., under Sri Gauriya Vedanta Samiti will be run according to its rules. The opportunistic and selfishly motivated rules and regulations of outside mats, missions, and organizations permitted in our Samiti. Vedanta Samiti will move forward unchecked with its specialities and dignity. We will be avowedly dedicated in every respect to preaching the Sri Swarup message of Sri Rupa and Raghunath under the guidance of the Gaudiya Guru Varga, the 6 Goswamis, and our Acharyas. May this be the sole source of life for us, we who are servants subsisting on their remnants. It will be fine if the introduction that has been written in Bengali for Satkriya Sar Dipika is translated into Hindi. At the end, write, for Hindi language speakers, adopting Vaishnav Smriti will be a special aid in performing sadhan bhajan. Till today, my body has been very ill for about 8 to 10 days. I will go to Madras towards the end of November. At the end of December, I will return to Kolkata. Please accept my Dandavat pranams. Here, everyone is fine. What more? Iti. Vaishnav, a wretched servant of the Vaishnavas. Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Letter 122. There is no harm if life is short. Auspiciousness lies in rendering service. Shri Gurudev, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan are our samsar. Lending selfless assistance is the characteristic of the saintly. Do not be angered by anyone else's adverse mentality or bad behavior. For those absorbed in bhajan, blasphemy and praise are equal. We see that Srila Vāmana Goswami stopped writing letters in the 90s, or like very rarely he was writing letters. Okay. There is no harm if the... Did I just read this? Sorry, I'm so spaced out. Yeah, I did. Lending selfless assistance is characteristic of the saintly. Do not be angered by anyone else's adverse mentality or bad behavior. For those absorbed in bhajan, blasphemy and praise are equal. Okay. 1995. Snehaspadasu. Dear, we left around 4 in the morning on a date of 3595 and reached Shiliguri the same day around 4 in the evening, 12 hours later. Govinda Māhārāja came to the NJP station with the devotees. Someone was specially praising your tolerance. When there is no means to avoid cold, heat, rain, then surely we have to tolerate them. This is Sri Krishna's instruction to his friend Arjuna. There is no harm if life is short. If one can patiently continue serving and performing worship, everything will be auspicious. Amid all manner of worldly duties, one must carry on as usual, chanting a fixed number of Shrinam and studying scriptural texts. The success of the rare human birth is certainly imperative. We worship Ganga with Ganga water. In other words, we really have no support or resources of our own. It is around Sri Gurudev, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan alone that our sangsar revolves. For those who thirst for bhajan, there is nothing more to do than remembering Guru and Bhagavan. That is their meditation, knowledge, chanting, austerities, their everything. Those who are blessed become Guru Deva Tatma, one in spirit with Gurudev, forever they forever persevere. Oh, sorry. No, never mind. Let me reread that. I was reading it wrong. Those who are blessed to become Guru Deva Tatma, one in spirit with Gurudev, forever preserve on the path of their memory the truth of Guru and Vaishnav's causeless mercy. It is natural for everyone to have faith in and gratitude for those whose nature it is to help others, support them, and empathize with them. However, it is seen that most of the time, the recipients of such help end up being inimical, dishonest, and unappreciative. If man is ungrateful, then there's nothing to say. In this world, Ungrateful people are in the majority. They are called opportunists and are You should carry on with your natural, simple concerns to help others. Do not help or empathize with others because you think that they will help you in the future. That, according to Gita Shastra, is considered a rajasic tamasic undertaking. Lending assistance in a selfless mood is sat, virtuous, and befitting the nature of a sadhu. Know this to be the special virtue and ornament of sadhus and sadhvis. This is really nice. Do not be angered by anyone else's adverse mentality or bad behavior. If, as a result of bad association, someone does not cooperate, it is not proper to be upset. Man reaps only the fruits of his own actions. Never think evil thoughts about another. In this world, no one can subjugate another. On the other hand, even if they try, they are also incapable of giving them the pleasures of heaven. The transcendental love and affection of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas is the only provision we need on the path of sadhan bhajan. Try to be satisfied with just that. I really like this. I think I'm going to save this. It says 122. Oh, I didn't post any of the things that I saved yesterday. Okay. In the field of sadhan bhajan, hatred, violence, and criticism are extremely damaging. Therefore, those things are wholly prohibited. For those who are always absorbed in the bliss of performing bhajan of Sri Radha Govinda, blasphemy and praise are in the same category. They spend all their time in the bhajan of their supremely worshipful Sri Radha Vinod Lal. Tulya ninda stutir moni santushto yena kena chit. For him, blasphemy and praise are equal. He is silent and satisfied with anything. This is their magnanimous attitude. Affection, possessiveness, love, and attachment. All these virtues are the greatest ornaments of the sadhak and sadhika. No worldly virtue is capable of gaining the transcendental tattva vastu, the absolute truth. That is why we see the statement Deva Bhutva Devam Yajet. One must obtain divine status to worship that which is divine. By the heartfelt mercy of Sri Guru and Bhagavan, even the impossible becomes possible. Akere Garuda Kore Aiche Dayamoy. He is so. He turns even a crow into Garuda. That's supposed to be in the previous line. Okay. It is natural for those who thirst for bhajan to experience severe mental distress when, from time to time, they do not have the darshan of Guru and Vaishnavas. It is by their mercy that we can live a good life. Several of us will travel to Haridwar via Delhi on the 12th of August by the Link Express. I will go to Mathura Vrindavan via Jaipur. On the 29th, I will travel Mathura to Dumka. In Navadvip, after the Virahotsav, I will stay in Kolkata and observe Kartik Vrat. All of you, please accept my affectionate blessings. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. One second, just checking. Dandavat pranams Shyamala Mata. Okay. Hare Krishna Shashramaji. Okay, letter 123. Both Bhagavan and his devotees are ill-disposed towards those intoxicated with pride.
If one's practices are unfavorable for bhakti, the inclination to stay under Bhagavan's guidance does not remain. In bhajan, it is necessary to carefully protect the sanctity of one's practice. We should not oppose the desires of another if we seek integrity in every aspect of life. Shri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan do not cater to anyone's minds, but give reassurance to foster patience and enthusiasm. This is letter written in 1995. Snehaspadasu. Ma, we traveled this past 3595 via the Tista Torsa Express, leaving at 7 in the evening and arriving 12 hours later at the New Jalpaiguri. Govinda Maharaj was present at the station with the sevaks. I had no inconvenience on the train. I myself do not want to be deprived of affection, nor is to deprive anyone else of affection. If someone who wants love does something wrong, they should be prepared to receive punishment. Though I am a guardian, I justly meted out punishment. I should become that sort of undiscerning son. But a disobedient child certainly deserves to receive punishment. Know that I do not have any sort of indiscretion in this regard. There is no doubt that Sri Guru and Bhagavan are merciful. But will they not have some sort of discretion as well? They give qualification to those who are unqualified, but standards still apply. Sri Bhagavan and Sri Guru Padma are sitting there to show mercy to the ill-fated and the wretched. But both the devotees and Bhagavan are ill-disposed towards those who are intoxicated with pride. How can someone who cannot see their own faults correct them? This is letter 1, 2, 3. I'm going to save this. Asthira siddhante rohi jiya hari bhakti roilo dure e hridaye ma parahingsa mada pratishta shata thaspure esa bayagraha charite narino apana doshete mori. Remaining immersed in fickle conceptions, devotion to Hari remained far off. In this heart, only violence, intoxication, prestige, and deceit manifest. I have not been able to give up these urges, and thus I perish of my own fault. For our own sake, we must know this and other beneficial instructions from Upadeshamrita. The inclination to follow Bhagavan's guidance does not remain if one practices that which is unfavorable for bhakti. The hankering to be a master within this illusory universe increases and one falls from the path of bhakti. Garhita achare rahilama maji nakorino sanga. I remained immersed in heinous conduct and did not associate with saintly persons. Heinous or heinous? Oh, it could be both. Okay. Shri Guru Yashaye Dakibo Tomai Kabe Bami Kori. In the shelter of Shri Guru, when will I call out to you and pray? This right here is a matter of special comprehension for sadhaks and sadhikas. If materialistic pride and egotism become predominant, one is compelled to go very far away from Hari. If the living entity frequents the Mat or Mandir and immerses his mind in hearing and reciting Hari Katha, then his self-interest in bhajan increases. Those who mingle too much with mundane karmis, gyanis, and yogis end up taking bad association on direct and indirect levels. they cannot properly protect the pure state of their bhajan. In the cultivation of bhajan, it is necessary to carefully protect the sanctity of one's practice. Otherwise, an adulterated mood comes and attacks the root of the propensity for bhakti. A person then becomes anyabhilashi, desirous of insignificant objects, and abandons the real path of an ideology of sadhan bhajan. I cannot possibly give you the order or direction to go to Sridham Vrindavan, nor can I forbid you from going to have darshan of Sridham, as it is not proper for anyone to give up the sublime fortune of beholding Sridham in the company of saintly personalities, or relinquish the opportunity to hear and recite Harikatha and live in Sridham. It is best to center whatever conversation or discussion we may engage in, whatever activity we perform or thought we have, around the main subject matter, Krishna. It is not proper to say or do anything that opposes the desire of another when we seek integrity in every aspect of our lives. Scripture forbids any sort of activity that is harmful to the body, mind, and soul. Hence, evaluating the injunctions and prohibitions that I have given according to time, place, and person, and putting them into consider intelligence. Sri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan are the true seers of heart. They do not say anything to cater to anyone's mind, but they provide reassurance and consolation to foster patience and enthusiasm. This is one of their many virtues. And this, their natural generosity, greatness, magnanimity, and affection for devotees manifests in its finest form. False perception or material ideas cannot compare with the true conceptions of the Vaishnavas. False perception or material ideas cannot compare with the true conceptions of the Vaishnavas. Guru and Vaishnavas are eternal, pure, primeval entities. Those under their guidance are also like that. Meditating and focusing on them entails taking refuge of the transcendental, actual truth. Accept my affectionate blessings. Convey my affectionate blessings as befitting to everyone else. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Letter 124. Letter 124. As the body is the root of bhajan, sadhaks and sadhikas know not to neglect it. They maintain their lives by the transcendental love and affection of Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. One should not neglect the service of Sri Vigraha to come to the Dham for darshan. Another letter on that. Nothing should detract from the fullness of service. Nothing can stop from living in Vrindavan constantly via inner vision. A bona fide guru is not biased or swayed by public opinion. This is written in 1995. Snehaspadeshu. Dear, accept my affectionate blessings. I have received the letters you sent by post. I have been suffering from fever for most of the past several days. But at present, I am somewhat better. Unable to ignore the requests of the assembled devotees, I've been giving class since yesterday. I do not trust myself. I cannot say how long I'll be able to give class in this manner. I have to go to the occasion of the deity installation. Otherwise, again there will be criticism. This is probably talking about Radha Vinod Bihari in Sanatana Gaudiya Math? No. You think? Shamala Mataji, when was Rup Sanatana was installed? Way before that. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he's talking about Gopinath Gaudiya Math? I don't know. I will stay there for a week and return to Kolkata. I am thinking there are many books to publish, and there is no stability in my body's health. That is why it is extremely necessary, it has become impossible for me to go anywhere away from Śrīmad. This time I will spend my birthday at this mart. That is decided. So things have changed from the arrangements mentioned in my previous letter. Do not be upset by this. You know my current physical condition and my future condition as well, so I do not need to trouble myself by explaining things to you. Although my letter is full of philosophical considerations, if you contemplate it in a patient, steady manner, you will properly grasp the tattva siddhanta therein. Sri Bhagavan reveals his real identity to humble and surrendered individuals. Knowing that Naratanu Bhajaner Mul, the human body, is the root of bhajan and is conducive for sadhan bhajan, the sadhaks and sadhikas never neglect it. For the sake of Hari Bhajan and with a desire to please Bhagavan, we will care for the health of the body and mind for the purpose of service. If we do not do that, then Bhagavan's words of Atmaha, soul killer, will always caution us. Those who are inclined to perform bhajan never give distress to anyone and do not become disturbed themselves. From time to time, as the human being treads this path, he makes some mistakes and errors. There is no reason to worry about it. Conviction and sincerity will always protect that person. Your simplicity and firm faith will establish you in life. Shri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavans are seers of the heart. It is by the transcendental love and affection that living entities become successful. By faith, belief, and conviction, the impossible is achieved. The sadhaks and sadhikas maintain their lives by the transcendental love and affection of Shri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. They nurture resolution and firm hope on the path of sadhan by remembering their causeless compassion. This is nice. Should I save this? I'll save this. That's a good point. 120. Is it 124? I can't even remember. Okay. There is a decree that Sri Urjavrata is to be observed only within Sri Dham. That opportunity is not always available for everyone. If those who are constantly absorbed in kirtan of Harinam and those whose life is for the sake of Krishna's household leave a place where the sole activity is a service of the deity and thus give up that vrat of service, then no matter what kind of vrat it is, it will not yield fruit. Avoiding the daily service of Shri Vigraha on the pretext of avoiding the torment of material existence is by no means characteristic of sadhan bhajan. Those who take a holiday from the responsibilities of service in the name of going to Sri Dham for darshan and hearing Harikatha have become disinterested in the constancy of service. They therefore want to take a break and provide enjoyment known as the eyes. Their darshan of the Dham and hearing of Harikatha is not real. Koti janme okore jadi shravana kirtan, Krishna pade tabu na pana Krishna premadhan. Even if one performs hearing and chanting for millions of lives, one will not attain the wealth of love for Krishna at his feet. Always remember this explanation. Wow, heavy stuff. I trust that you are chanting a profuse amount of Harinam, studying the scriptures, and serving Shri Vigraha. Never stop being engaged in it. Everything combined constitutes the fullness of serving Bhagavan. This fullness is sometimes accomplished by several people coming together. Then again, in the absence of people, just one person can take responsibility for that full service. Not having any deficiency in the fullness is sadhan bhajan. What's that mean? Not having any deficiency in the fullness. Oh, in the fullness of service. I don't know if there needs to be any clarification there. Maybe not. Even if one cannot live in Vrindavan externally, there is nothing to stop one from always living in Vrindavan by inner vision. Jatai Guru Vaishnavagan, She Stane Vrindavan, Se stane ananda ashesh. Where Guru and Vaishnavas are, that place is Vrindavan. In that place, the bliss is endless. The endeavors of sadhan bhajan are aimed at gaining the constant proximity of Guru and Vaishnavas. That's really important. Those who are truly striving to perform bhajan cannot have any sort of doubt, nor proper. The Vishramba Sevak's only duty and obligation is to stay in the association of Guru and Vaishnavas and fulfill the responsibilities of service. Following their orders is real service, it's a responsibility. It is written in scripture that following the order and instructions of Guru without second thought is a disciple's exclusive duty and ideal. I'll save all that. To protect one person's devious indulgences, Gurudev does not create obstacles in the independent service concerns of another one-pointed disciple or servant. He alone is a bona fide guru who is not a flatterer and who is not dependent. Only one who is fully cognizant of the subject of real welfare, who is not influenced by public opinion, and who is fully unbiased in the matter of managing service, in other words, one who sees the truth, called a bona fide guru. Take my affectionate blessings. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. This is great. I'm going to save this all. (124) again. Letter 125. Conveying his good wishes on the occasion of Srila Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahāraja's first journey to Western countries for the purpose of preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is written in 1996. Shri Vaishnava Charane Dandavannati Purvikeyam. Pujapad Maharaj, yesterday, after considerable delay, I received your merciful letter dated 12th April 1996. I hope that by the causeless mercy of our most worshipful Srila Gurupad Padma, you are well in all respects. I became extremely gladdened and enthused to know that on the repeated assistance of the foreign devotees, you are preparing for an auspicious journey to Western countries with the objective of preaching the Prem Dharma of Srimad Mahaprabhu in the lands of Holland, England, America, and Canada. I came to know that devotees from those countries are bearing the travel expenses for 3 people, and that your visa and tickets have been duly arranged. But why should the lands of Singapore and Hong Kong be deprived of the Prem Vani of Shri Gaur Sundar? And there's a footnote here. Singapore and Hong Kong are places of entry into China. Thus, Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Goswami Maharaj was indicating that according to the desire of Sri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he also propagate the message of Prem Dharma of Mahaprabhu in China. Interesting. You are going abroad solely to preach the message of pure bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti Katha, and therefore I am not at all concerned about profit or loss, for I consider that for the inhabitants of those countries, your travels are a golden opportunity and exceptional good fortune. May the causeless and auspicious blessings of Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Vinod Bihari, Shri Nrsingadev, and he who is topmost among all those who fulfill all desires, and he who is topmost among those who fulfill all desires, Shri Giriraj Maharaj, forever shower mercy upon you. By your preaching of their message, their inner heart's desire, their manobhishta, will certainly be protected. This is indeed my firm belief. At an elderly age, your enthusiasm and patience to preach the message of Shri Gaur in the West is undoubtedly true bravery. To label this mere bravado is to deny the actual truth. May you be victorious along with your associates. I have come to know the day of your auspicious journey is fixed for May 5th, 1996. Kindly accept my Shashtanga Dandavat Pranams, Iti, Shri Vaishnav Dasabhas, Shri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Okay, so this is written before Gurudev went traveling. Yes. Cool. Now, letter 126. A heartfully welcome. Written on the occasion of Srila Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Māhārāja's return to India from preaching the message of Sri Guru in Eastern countries. This is written in 1997. Need to change the style of this. I'll change all that. Okay. O Dinavatsal, you who are affectionately disposed to the fallen, my heartily welcome upon your return to your own nation after extensively preaching the message of Sri Gora in the prominent eastern countries of Malaysia, Australia, Indonesia, Singapore, and so forth. Your preaching travels are in every way distinct travels of ordinary people. Mahantera Sobhava e tarite pamar, Nija karya nahi tabu jana para ghar. The magnanimous nature of the saintly persons is that they always deliver the fallen and sinful souls. They have no personal business of their own, nor do they seek self-profit. Still, for the benefit of the living entities, they visit their homes for the sole purpose of delivering the fallen souls. The sadhus' travel is solely for this reason. Sadhavo Dinavatsala. The sadhus are the friends of the fallen and become distressed at the suffering of the others. Okay, there should be a translation for this. Okay. So they are friends of the fallen, become distressed at the suffering of others. Their hearts naturally melt with upon seeing the incredible misfortune of the conditioned souls resulting from their forgetfulness of bhajan. The kindness they bestow upon such souls is not ordinary or mundane. The supremely compassionate sadhus awaken in them a yearning to develop their Atma Dharma, the constitutional occupation of their very self. O Keshavanugarajan, dear follower of Keshav, for the purpose of fulfilling the inner heart's desire, the manobhishta of Paramaradhatama Jagat Guru Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Prabhu, you, not caring for your own happiness or distress, took a vow to preach the message of Shri Gaudiya Vedanta. Our unlimited gratefulness to you. Shri Gaur Sundar has said, Jagat Vyapya Mora Habe Punya Khyati Sukhi Hoya Loka Mora Gahi Beka Kirti. My virtuous glories will pervade the whole world, and with untold satisfaction, people will sing of my fame. In order to actualize his prophecy, Shri Gaur Sundar transmitted both inspiration and ability into the hearts of his Anugata devotees, his keen followers. Otherwise, without surmounting the obstacle of old age, and with a bodily condition that is not stable, it would have been entirely impossible for you to preach the message of Sriman Mahaprabhu's Prem Dharma with such irrepressible vigor. O Vaikuntha Varta Vahak, messenger bearing news of Vaikuntha, the original founder of the worldwide Gaudiya Math and mission, Jagat Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, declared himself to be the messenger of Sri Chaitanya. This means that to uphold, carry, and distribute the message of Sri Chaitanya as it is indeed the distinctive feature of Gaudiya priests. They never tamper with the divine message of Godhead as heard from authentic sources, Shrotavani, by altering it, rejecting it, or speculating about it in order to achieve their own comforts, out of fear of their own weakness being exposed, or to enhance their own prestige. All the associates and followers of Keshav are extremely joyful by your resolve to preach preceptive Gaura Saraswat message without the slightest alteration. O conqueror of the East and West, by inundating and nourishing the whole world with a flood of prem, Vishvambar Shri Gaurachandra, the maintainer of the entire universe, bequeathed a code of conduct. By following that code, you have conquered the eastern and western countries. In the past, many persons from India crossed the great ocean with the doctrine of karma and gyan in hand. The heroes of the path of karma, who dutifully perform their religious activities for the purpose of enjoying the fruits, proclaim that one can attain eternal peace through the performance of karma. Yet this is only cheating, and the cultivation of impersonal knowledge by jnanis paralyzes the existence of the supreme absolute entity. Persons adhering to this philosophy claim that it brings peace. Persons adhering to this philosophy claim that it brings peace by bringing about the absolute cessation of misery, but this is completely illusory. The living entities are eternal servitors of Sri Bhagavan, and he is the eternal object of their service. This platform of causeless service encompasses the fifth and final goal of human life, Krishna Prem. You have conquered the native persons of those countries by shining upon them a new light containing that very message, that Vani of Prem Prayojan. Consequently, all the devotees of Shri Gaur are with bliss. O beneficiary of all living entities, Bharata Bhumite Hoilo Manusha Janmajar Janma Sartak Kori Koro Para Upakar. One who has taken birth as a human being in Bharatavarsha, the land of India, should make his life successful by performing acts to eternally benefit others. The land of Bharat alone is the birthplace of true welfare workers. In the above statement, Śrīmad Mahaprabhu specifically confers upon the residents of India the responsibility to truly benefit others. Para means topmost. Since Sri Rupa Goswāmī established the Manobhishta, right? It's a long I. The Manobhishta of Sri Gaurasundar in this world, the conception of highest welfare is expressed solely in his guidance. You indeed proclaim with great God, I had a hard time saying this word. You indeed proclaim with great specificity the attributes of a true and topmost beneficiary, as displayed by Sri Rupa Prabhu and his followers on this earth, who illuminated the most confidential truths, tattva, and service to Sri Gaur Radha Vinod Bihariji. O best of those who preach Amnayavani, the immaculate instructions received through the succession of bona fide, the residents of Bharat, who are great benefactors, para upakari, possess an abundance of wealth to bestow upon the inhabitants of the West, but they have nothing worthwhile to take from them. For the devotees of Sarveshwareshwar, the Lord of all lords, there is never any worldly dearth that makes them dependent on the inhabitants of foreign lands. According to the statement, Sarva Kala Vidam Brahma, everything belongs to Brahma. Every being in the universe and everything within the universe are servants of Bhagavan and instruments to be used in service to him. But because a certain group of foreign devotees are not established in the statement's meaning, they are creating obstacles to your preaching of Sri Gaur's divine message, solely due to fearing a loss of profit, adoration, and prestige. Karindre Brajamane pi stuyamane supurushe vukanti sarameyascha kakshatish tasya jayate. What harm can the barking of the street dogs do to a person who is brilliantly situated upon a royal elephant and extolled by virtuous persons? I love that. That's a really cool thing. Wise persons are gradually becoming enlightened regarding the essence and purpose of your preaching of Amnayavani. So the hubbub raised by those opposing you is proving to be fruitless. This is so great. To conclude, May your life be long, and may you remain in excellent health, so that you can preach the eternal message of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Saraswat Sampradaya as it is all over the world. This alone is my fervent prayer at the lotus feet of Sri Gaur Radha Vinod Bihari, Sri Giriraj, and Sri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, Sri Vaishnav Das Anudas, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. Wow, so like one of the only letters that he wrote in 1997 seems to be to my Gurudev. Okay, letter 127. A cordial reception to His Holiness Parivrajacacharya Tridandi Swami Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Narayan Māhārāja. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj pens this letter in English. Okay, so now we're going to get an idea of what Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj's English was like. Again, just need to fix all that. Okay. Revered Swamiji, my heartiest congratulations to you your happy return to India after completion of your successful preaching tour of Malaysia, Australia, Indonesia, and Singapore. You had to pay a visit to the West in response to the calls of devotees in Holland, England, America, and Canada. Your preaching tour is far different from that of the excursion made by the people for sensual pleasure or of the loitering about by worthless vagabonds. What's a vagabond? A person who wanders from place to place without a home or job. Or it can also mean a dishonest or unprincipled person. But no, I think it's the first one. It is because the Vaishnavas are causelessly merciful to all unfettered souls, and alone grieved by their misery due to indifference towards the transcendental truth. In spite of having no business of their own, they roam about to relieve humanity from the terrible afflictions of births and rebirths. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur left us an invaluable prediction made by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the original fountainhead, that his name would be introduced in every town and village on earth. And again, Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the greatest pioneer of the movement of pure unalloyed devotion in the modern age, professed that the movement of pure devotion would soon be broadcast all over the world by a specially powerful individual. This prophecy is found to be fulfilled in the divine personage of Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, who at that time moved heaven and earth to establish pure theism in a large scale. He time and again employed expounders of extraordinary merit to dispel all nescience prevailing the lands of the eastern and western hemispheres. Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, the most affectionate of Srila Saraswati Prabhupada, had founded the world-reputed Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti to preserve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message of unflinching devotion. Knowing his inner desire, you stepped forward to carry the responsibility of conveying the Gaudiya Vedanta expositions beyond the seas, ignoring the bondage of your old age. Such is your benevolence. India has always been the homeland of spiritual movement. Times like the present, when the minds of men are distracted by the multiplicity of material considerations, the utmost necessity for mankind to be spiritually awakened. No other doctrine can really bring eternal bliss to the distressed, but the divine message of love propounded by Sri Chaitanya, who has appointed Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami as the original apostles. You, being being the worthy messenger of them, would certainly be successful in imparting the true spirit of their teachings to fallible beings by the great divine grace of Shri Guru Gaura Radha Vinod Bihari, Shri Lakshmi Varaha Nrsingadev. Sorry, I see here. I earnestly pray to them so that you remain hale and hearty and be blessed with a long life to broadcast the sublime message of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Amen. Vaishnav Dasanudas, Chidandi Bhikshu, Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. His English is quite good, wasn't it? All right, so now we're reading the last letter. This is written in 1999. So I guess in 1998 he didn't write any letter. Okay. Snehaspadeshu. I received your loving letters dated 16/2/99, 5/4/99, 17 and 17/4/99 on time. I hope you are well physically and well in your bhajan. The sevaks and I are more or less well. Why are you thinking that you are living very far away from the company of Shri Guru and Vaishnavas? No matter where we reside, as per the will of Bhagavan, we will perform Shri Nam Bhajan in the proximity of Shri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. This should be our meditation and focus at all times. You are serving in the guidance of Shri Shyam Sundar, remaining subservient to the root Ashray Vigraha. The pure Vrajavasis are always worshipping Guru Pad Padma, who is the personification of Krishna's mercy. They can never conceive of a separate existence. Do not feel yourself to be without shelter. You will surely attain perfection in sadhana. For this, unbroken patience is necessary. If you are to live in the mat or mandir, then surely you must render some service. If you cannot cooperate with everyone, how will it work? In the mat and mandir, the judgment and affection of all the sevaks is not the same. They cannot agree with everyone. If you find it inconvenient to live separately from Shri Guru and Vaishnavas, then you have to follow their rules and regulations. The meaning of Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti points exclusively to my Shri Guru Pad Padma. How will I leave him and go on? The main concern is that one has to obey the standards. One has to boycott evil persons mentally. For the sake of a greater self-interest, the smaller self-interest has to be given up. Picking the hairs out of a wool blanket, however, will destroy the whole blanket. The whole is nothing without the individuals. This sort of notion is not in accordance with proper Siddhanta. Your Gurudev does not want any publicity. There is a firm belief in my mind that Jagadguru Shri Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev never propagates himself. All the efforts of sadhus and the Guru are only for the welfare of the souls of this world. May everyone in the world perform bhajan of Krishna. This alone will bring about their true welfare. This is the only blessing of the Jagadguru Varga, the universal teachers to the world. Shri Guru and Vaishnavas do not wish ill upon anyone. With this belief, always steady your heart. Their words are never false or untrue. They are seers of past and future. All the ego we have of being very, very capable and perceptive becomes futile. For those servants who subsist on the remnants of Guru and Vaishnavas, love and affection for Bhagavan is the only thing they want. Their sadhan bhajan is to achieve that alone. No one has any chance of auspiciousness for their soul if they do not believe in Tattva Vastu, the absolute reality. Moreover, the real belief is Krishna Bhakt Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. If one engages in devotion to Krishna, all duties are fulfilled. So you should be patient. Sadhan bhajan is very difficult. Himalayan, like patience and tolerance, is required. The moment one loses one's composure, nothing else remains. Write from time to time. Take my affectionate blessings. We are the same as usual. Iti, your eternal well-wisher, Sri Bhaktivedānta Vāmana. All right, so we completed all the letters of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj in this book. And tomorrow, we're going to read about the sublime life and qualities of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj, adapted from the introduction to his Prabandhavali. And yeah, this it's really powerful. After having read all of his letters, now we get to see who this extraordinary personality was. And his life is, I wrote a little thing in a Gaudiya Kirtan post about this, but yeah, the first time when he was only 9 years old, the first time he met my Param Gurudev and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and that from that time he refused to go back home. He was only 9 years old, and he stayed. That's been his only relationship his whole life. Anyways, his whole life is just extraordinary, and so we'll read about this tomorrow. Yeah, this is so beautifully written also. And then that the day after tomorrow, we're going to read this, the full embodiment of Vaishnava's 26 qualities. And this is almost too beautiful to be true. It's so amazing. This goes through each one of these qualities, and then it gives examples and stories of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj. Yeah, all of this, it's so beautiful. Anyways, okay. Like, just see this. I'm just going to read this one thing. The Bhakti Lata, vine of devotion, is very tender. It cannot survive in a hard heart. If one does not relinquish kutarka, special reasoning, and desires for sense enjoyment, the heart does not become soft. And if the heart does not soften, Bhakti Devi cannot appear there. As Tishi arises for anything related to Bhagavan, the heart softens to the point that it remains constantly melted. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Maharaj's nature was so soft and gentle that the moment people came into his presence, they would be overwhelmed by it. Thousands and thousands of people were blessed to be able to bathe simultaneously in the nectarous ocean of affection of his gentle heart. Everyone felt like they were the special object of his affection and felt supreme satisfaction in that. In the ambience of that softness, no one could be hesitant or withdrawn. Whoever came into the proximity of his childlike tenderness would blossom and seat him in the throne of their heart. He himself would say, I am a child, and you are all my guardians. He would also say, we are all children in front of Bhagavan. If you cannot be simple-hearted like a child, you can't become a Vaishnav. Just as an infant has no other language besides crying, we have no other alternative than to weep while chanting Harinam before Bhagavan. And if the infant does not cry, the mother does not give him milk. Not that one should make a show of crying. It has to be crying of the heart. And Bhagavan, who lives in the heart, knows well what that is. Can a parent remain unmoved by the crying of their child? All of it's so beautiful. To fulfill the desire of a poor devotee who wanted to host him, he stayed during the rainy season in his little home that had a leaky roof and spent whole nights clutching an umbrella to keep dry. He felt more comfortable staying with poor devotees in their straw cottages than with proud rich people in their multi-story mansions. If ever coerced to go to a rich person's house, he was always very uncomfortable in that environment. He would say, Bhagavan has more mercy for the poor. Aristocrats, scholars, and wealthy people are very arrogant and buy Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas with wealth, opulence, and erudition. These efforts to buy me these efforts to buy me really make me uncomfortable. Poor people naturally have a humble mood because of their lack of money. Such a favorable. Anyways, all of it. It's really interesting and really beautiful. One day, Srila Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Maharaj privately addressed him as Guru Bhai, God brother. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Goswami Maharaj burst into tears, objecting with the words, Prabhupada is yours and you are mine. Once a disciple asked him, can we refer to both Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada as Param Gurudev? In response to this, he said, you want to say this because of my one little interaction, receiving Harinam from Srila Prabhupada, and earn some pratishta that way? However, I do not maintain the ego, the abhiman, that Srila Prabhupada is my Gurudev. So he cannot be Gurudev. Only Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj is your Param Gurudev. Even though he received Harinam from Srila Prabhupada and Diksha Mantras from Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj before Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj took sannyas, even though he was a direct witness to the founding of the Gaudiya Samiti, even though he was chosen as the President Acharya by Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and even though he was a peerless scholar of all the scriptures, a living, breathing Siddhanta. Anyways, even though he was entirely beyond compare in every way, he never made any effort to be treated differently or earn prestige by making it known that he was somehow superior. He considered himself to be a negligible servant of the Samiti. His natural humility was such that the day before his appearance day, to avoid the ceremony of Guru Puja, he would suddenly disappear and go where no one could find him. Anyways, I gotta stop because it's long. But we'll read about his life history tomorrow, and then these 26 qualities the day after tomorrow. All right. Hari Bol. Who wrote his biography? I don't know exactly because there's no author name given, but it was right during his disappearance time, or like right after his disappearance time. It might have been a compilation of devotees who wrote it. I don't know exactly. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you for reading with me, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Yeah, just like sorry, Indira Mataji. Kind of just like in the Rays of the Harmonist, we wrote a biography of Gurudev on, during Gurudev's disappearance time, but it wasn't like, we didn't give an author name because it was just our magazine's official offering of and also in every Rays of the Harmonist we write an editorial, and but we don't give an author name on the editorial either because it's just kind of a general thing. So for both of those things, there's no author. Yeah. We actually did something like that for Gurudev also, where a bunch of different devotees wrote their glorification, and then it was, oh no, that was for, never mind. Yeah, that was for Tirtha Maharaj actually. Everybody wrote their thing, and we just compiled it all together, and there's no author given. All right, see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.